Hello world on Twist and welcome back to Raw Recap and Review. This is the April 20th, 2026 episode of Raw from Las Vegas, and this is part 2. So you know what that means, man. What happened the last part? Huh? Tell me. Oh, you don't know, right? That's why you gotta click up here, man, so you can know. But for the people that do know, we saw Rusev knocking out Javon and Penta, trying to show that he's the next champion. But we get to a segment with the new women's world heavyweight champion, Liv Morgan. She popping out with the Judgment Day. She got JD McDonough with her. She got Roxanne Perez. She got her boyfriend Dirty Dom, and got Big Mommy Cool, Raquel Rodriguez. Liv goes on to say, "You are now in the presence of the best women's champion of all time." With that little goofy ass laugh. But she says, we got to give thanks to some important people. She gives thanks to her Judgment Day family. And it even goes on to thank Stephanie for reminding her of a feeling she haven't felt in a while. And that she is the best and the most talented woman in WWE. So she's feeling herself again. But then we get a pop out from Sol Ruka, who, if you don't know, is from NXT, but I guess she's getting called up to the main roster. She pop out, looking, gets in the ring, and she says, "Hey, Liv." She goes and say, "Liv, you're an inspiration in that you are at the top of this women's division." And that she really rocking with her. And then Liv is like, oh, she's smiling at first, but she's like, oh, you really got the nerve to pop out here during my celebration with my family. Liv goes and say that, you're no Liv Morgan, and that if you don't get out of my ring, you'll never be able to fight for this belt. And Soul's like, hold on now, I ain't come out here for a fight, but you ain't gonna try to punk me like that. At least the Adam Pearce coming out, and he says, you know what? Y'all want to fight, people? So, Liv, after commercial break, we getting into it. So that leads us to the third match of the night. We have Liv Morgan versus Sol Ruka. And Sol is dominant in this match. Liv tries to land a clothesline on Sol Ruka, but Sol does a kip up dodge out of it into a super kick and then whips Liv. But then Liv stops it by hitting her with a kick. At least Liv going for a drop down roll up onto Sol, but then Sol turns that into another roll up. This time, but Liv gets the advantage, tries to land her Karana on the Sol, but Sol does a handstand flip out of it, then hits her with a drop kick, and then hits her with a corner elbow on the Liv. Now Sol tries to do a standing moonsault on the Liv, but Liv puts her knees up. Now she gets the but Sol's still fighting back. She gets the advantage, goes into the apron, tries to go for a springboard, but Liv stops her. She flips over to the mat. That leads to Liv stomping a mud hole in her, hitting her with multiple punches on the ground. Then Irish whips her to the corner, hits her with a corner knee, and then hit her with a low drop kick on the ground. Go for the pin. 1, 2, kick out from Sol. But now Sol gets the advantage. Super kick to Liv. Tries to get into a German suplex, but Liv reverses out of that and then kicks her back. Tries to lift her up for a slam, but it gets reversed by Sol, which ends up taking her back down. But then they have a wrestling sequence, which I've never seen them do, but at least Liv getting the advantage on top, holding her head, leading to a rest hold situation, and then hitting her with multiple knees. Then we get an Irish whip from Liv. She tries to do an arm drag on the Sol, but Sol flips out of it and then lands it back down with an X Factor. Shout out X-Pac, which leads to Liv rolling outside the ring. Sol Ruka goes into the apron, does the jump backflip off the corner post right into Liv, and then she OR farms, and that's how we get to the commercial break. We get back from the commercial break with Liv Morgan having an advantage. She tries to land the three amigos, one suplex, two suplex, and then on the third one, Sol reverses out of it and lands a suplex of her own. That leads to Sol getting a big punch combination on her and then hitting her with multiple elbows into a German suplex. She get on the middle rope and then hit her with the missile drop kick. She cooking the champ right now. And then as Liv is getting up, she hits her with a running knee while she's down. Goes for a pin. 1, 2, kick out from Liv. She's still in there. That leads to Sol going to the top rope, tries to do a dive, but Liv catches her with a code breaker. Goes for the pin. 1, 2, kick out of that though. But as Sol's getting up, she's near the ropes. That leads to Liv trying to land Oblivion. But this time, Sol handstand flips out of it. This one again, hits her with a super kick, goes to the corner, lands the Soul Snatcher, which is basically like a flip RKO from either the middle rope or the from either a springboard or from the corner. But Liv smartly rolls outside the ring. That leads to Soul saying, "Okay, y'all outside." Raquel and Roxanne trying to console Liv, but Soul does a cartwheel backflip to the outside, basically stumps on Raquel and Roxanne. So then picks up Liv, throws her back into the ring, and as she's trying to get right, Zarya, who is from NXT and who she's going to be fighting tomorrow in a last woman standing match, attacks her from behind, slams her into the ring post, hit her with a big spine burst on the ground. She ends up at least getting the count. The ref's at 9. So gets back in. She rushes back in. She beats the count, but she's near the rope. That leads to the boom oblivion from Liv. 1, 2, 3. Good dub for Liv Morgan. Again, another 3.5-star match. Every time I see shenanigans, I'm like, man, the match is going good. We don't need this. Like, sometimes you need to just leave it alone. But so Ruka shows that she's main roster ready. But it looks like she got to do one more fight to get back over here. That leads to Liv, Raquel, and Roxanne flexing the belts and everything. They walking back. But then, boom, big fire. I swear Stephanie be popping out like she Kane. Valkyria pop out. And then they have a little face off. And Liv flex holding the belt. After that, they end up showing a Brock Lesnar career tribute. Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania Sunday. He ended up retiring after losing to Obafemi. Pretty good overall vid. That leads into the Vision popping out with Paul Heyman and Logan Paul and Austin Theory. Paul Heyman is sad. He says, yesterday was unexpected for him because Brock Lesnar is supposed to be retiring. And then he also makes fun of CM Punk being sad about the production team because, he's mad. He's mad at the production team for still showing Brock Lesnar in the intro on the Now category. And he says, and no one will ever be better than the Beast, Brock Lesnar. But then he says, that was forever, but now we're getting to the present, and we're having a resurgence of the tag team with the Vision. And he says, I'm gonna bless you guys' ear with Logan Paul. Logan Paul get the mic, and he can't talk. He getting booed out the building. Like crazy. He just yells and talks to everybody. He says the only reason LA Knight and the Usos won at WrestleMania was because of speed. And he says, I'm tired of these YouTubers and streamers and these outsiders getting involved with this business. And it's ironic because, Logan is a YouTuber. He ends up giving the mic back to Paul. Paul says, shout out to Gunther getting that dub. He says, I owe you a favor, but the real highlight though was our boy Braun Breaker. He get Braun Breaker to pop out. Braun Breaker, he ready. He says, his favorite part of WrestleMania was seeing Seth be this close to winning and then watching me just end it all. He says, Seth, I don't know if you're here, I don't know if you're home, but watch and listen closely. Anytime, any place, I'm going to ruin your life, basically. And then, burn it down! Boom, the fire popping out. And all the Vision looking at the stage, waiting for him. Seth said, I'm coming from the back. Pause. He get the chair, whopped that man, Braun, in the back, and he clipped him in the head. And Braun is literally gushing blood as the segment goes on. But the Vision catch on to Seth. Austin Theory holding that man down. Logan getting multiple punches on him. But then the Street Profits, who used to be on SmackDown, they now on Raw. Montez Ford, Angelo Dawkins, they pop out to help Seth and also to let them know they coming for them tag team belts. They knock the boys out. They get them outside the ring. And then Montez does the front flip to the outside on the Vision. They start throwing the boys over the barricade. They start fighting over there. But then that leads to Seth being alone in the ring. Braun gets up. He finally gets up. Gushing blood, by the way. He gets into the ring, tries to go for the spear. Boom! Super kick by Seth. He hit that man with punches. Punches. He tried to go down for the stump. Braun get out that way. Hit that man with a spear. He talking shit to Seth, saying, man, I'm finna ruin your life, man. He hit the double ropes. Spear onto that man. And then Braun just looking crazy. So, Braun Breaker back, man. And it's looking like maybe at Backlash, they finally gonna get that match they should have had. But then we get to our last match of the night. It's not the main event because that main event is talking. But we get Finn Balor, not the demon version, versus JD McDonough. Finn Balor popping out. He got the draws back officially, old theme and everything. He he gets to the ring and then JD does his entrance. JD taped up from the ladder match. He banged up. He started aura farming on the rope, but Finn said, "I ain't waiting." Clothesline that man over the ring. Uh, he up there try to pick up JD, but JD fight back, slam that man into the apron. He then leads him over to the barricade. But then Finn back body drops JD over the barricade, and then they start fighting over the outside. Then they go to the other side, and then Finn then clotheslines JD over the barricade, puts him to the ring, and now the bell rings. So the match is actually starting now. Finn still on fire. Get that man on the corner, chop. Get that man to the other corner, chop. Then he Irish whipped that man, but JD hits him with an elbow and hit that man with multiple punches down on the ground. That leads to Finn rolling out to the apron. JD tries to come up to him, but he kicks that man up there and then goes. He's already knocked down on the ground. He said, "Okay, it's time to finish." Goes to the top rope, tries to go for the coup de grace. He misses. JD dodged out of it and then kicked him to the outside of the ring, and that's when we get to a commercial break. We get back from the commercial break with JD trying to land a suplex on the Finn, but Finn reverses out of it, catches him over the elbow down that man. JD gets back up. Finn hitting that man with multiple punch combos, pulling that man down, stumping on that man's chest. Then he give it back up, hit that man with a sling blade. Then he goes for the corner drop kick, like a shotgun drop kick. He tries to go for the kick. JD knows it. He pulls back so Finn can hit the ground, and he pulls up for a roll-up pin. They kick out of that one. As they get up, boom, big headbutt by JD. He got that Funko Pop head. Goes for the pin. 1, 2, kick out from Finn. He ain't going out like that. That leads to JD trying to land a moonsault, but that man Finn put them feet up, boom, right into the injured ribs of JD. Which at least now he can land the corner drop kick. Goes to the top rope. Coup de grace. 1, 2, 3. Big down for Finn. I'm giving the match a 4-star because the chaos in the beginning of the match really set off a great start. Really set off a great start for me. I thought it was the most entertaining match of the night. And Finn is back, man. He getting dubs finally. But Dirty Dom attacks him from behind, kicks him, hits him to the rope for the 619 position, but Finn ain't going for it. As soon as he gets him over, clothesline flip on that man, hit that man with the corner drop kick, try to go for the coup de grace again, but JD McDonough pulls him out of side, get him out of harm's way, and then Finn in the ring, or farming. Before we get on to Roman Reigns, we get a segment with Gunther being interviewed by Jackie Redmond. He says, she wants to know about him and Paul Heyman. She says, there is no partnership between me and him. He owes me a favor, and pretty soon. And he says, you should expect him to be having a belt soon, be ready to see that. And L.A. Knight say, nah. He says, we both won at WrestleMania, so congrats to you, man. But you had a 3-on-1 advantage, so it really makes you a loser. He says also, that you're not the only one that wants the belt, and I'll be seeing you around. Then we get another segment. We get Rhea Ripley, Io Sky. It's their last Raw for now. Rhea got to go to SmackDown because she the WWE champion. And Rhea, they all crying, Io says, you got this. You take care of that. And that Rio's forever. And as Rhea walks away, she walks past Liv Morgan. And Liv says, I'll see you around, huh? She's like, yeah. And I can't wait for it. But now we're into the main event of the show, which is Roman Reigns promo. He pull up in the black truck, presidential. He does they do the cinematic where he walks down into Gorilla. At Gorilla, his cousins, the Usos, there. He dapped them up, man, and they ready to let him just get his thing. But Roman goes, you know what? Come on, man, pop out with me. So they pop out, and he got some big dumbass pyro. Boom, 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 boom. And it goes to a commercial break. Then we get back to Roman in the ring. He got to get the shtick in. Las Vegas, acknowledge me. He says, he wanted to keep it simple, talk about some things, but, he wanted to start with family. Now that his cousin's with him, He says, he misses doing business with them. He said it feels good, but he says he used example that we are scattered, though. We're looking like this, He said, Jay, you up there crashing out, fighting with Cameron on the podcast. He said, man, you're main event Jay Uso. He's like, bro, why you doing that, man? This ain't us, He says, he doesn't want them to be his minions or anything. He wants them to be a group. He wants them to be whole together. He said he wants to do business with them. He says, it works because of our proof of our 4-year run. And everybody's getting hype. So he asks the Usos, I want y'all to stand with me. At least the Big Jim getting the mic, and he says, I say this. I'm speaking for me and my brother when I say this. Roman, you will always be my tribal chief, and we never the two. We always the ones. Jim puts up the one, Jay put up the one, and that man Roman got that belt put up his one. And you hear Fatu theme. Jacob Fatu, who was usually on SmackDown, he just finished beating Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania, is now on Raw. And Jacob Fatu looking gritty. I'm thinking in my mind, is he finna join them? Is he finna cook with them? And Roman, he says to him, it's been a while since I see you, man. And it's only a couple reasons why I think you be popping out, So are you here to acknowledge me? And Fatu said, nah, I ain't here to do that. And I was like, ooh, he want the fade. At least Fatu say, he tells Roman that he needs that title. Roman, I'm not here to become tribal chief, but I am here for everything that the tribal chief has. He said the shoe deal, the private jets, the Rolex, your family good, all these opportunities and everything. He want all that. He need everything Roman got. Then he says that Backlash, you gonna find out why Jacob Fatu is all gas, no brakes. Yada I mean. And Roman, he's calm. He's not angry. He's calm. He says, Jacob, I want those things for you too. But the real question is, are you able to handle the burden if you beat me? Are you able to handle the burden of having this belt? But even worse than that is, are you going to be able to handle losing to me and having to handle the burden of acknowledging me? He says, Jacob, man, he tells Jacob it's lonely at the top of this mountain, man. It's not a lot of space. And he says he's calm about it. He said, I don't know if you're ready. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to give you to next week, and then we're going to see if you're really about what you're talking about. That leads to Roman and the Usos leaving. And Roman told Jimmy, he said, hey, man, you need to talk to him, man. You need to get into his head. And Jimmy like, I'm going to get him. That's what I'm saying. And that's the end of the segment. Roman versus Jacob Fatu would be a fire match. But it's going to be, I'm surprised how early it's going to be. But Roman said he not part-time no more. He said he going to be here till the summer. So let's see. But that's going to be the end of part 2 of this Raw Recap and Review. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe to the channel for more. We just finished the WrestleMania reviews. They're on the channel now. I enjoyed the show. Excellence is the only thing I really disliked about the event. The match has got to be longer. This is the one time in WWE where you're not supposed to be greedy. TKO. Give us the wrestling. That's what we came for. We gave y'all all this money all the year. Give us the wrestling. But other than that, I have W2K26 content. The full showcase with CM Punk is on the channel, and my rides will be coming out soon. And also be sure to check in for next week's Raw Recap and Review, because I'm going to be on it. I'm Twist. I'm out.